everybody, we're talking with Tony Reed of Moss Generator and Stone Axe and what else?
Hot Spring Water.
Hot Spring Water, that's right.
Scenic Nowhere.
And now, Pentagram.
Pentagram, yes.
Which is kind of a big deal. American Doom Band.
Don't let Bobby here say that.
What? American Heavy Rock Band.
Yes.
Okay. Heavy rock only. So how did that come about?
Henry Vasquez from St. Vitus fame has been lobbying to become the drummer for Pentagram for a few years now. And I've always been kind of waiting for him to get this gig, and I knew he's like, I'll bring you in. I'm like, we've tried it, we've explored it a couple times, not got together, but it was supposed to be in the works and it didn't. So I just kind of looked at it as it's not going to happen. I'm the kind of guy that, like, when I'm standing on the stage, from what I said was gonna, then I'll believe it's going on.
Then you believe,
right?
yeah.
So it finally, the recent lineup finally ran its course and decided to split up. Well, Bobby wasn't ready to stop.
Yeah, he wants to keep touring. That's what he does.
Yep. And he's in tip-top shape for a 70-year-old man. He came into the studio and he really killed it. And well, a year ago, Henry and I had got together in Texas, and in I think it was 4 days, we wrote 11 songs and recorded demos. Those have just kind of been given as a, like, okay, when you're ready, we got this. So the time came, and then Henry came up about 3 weeks ago, and was here for a week, and we wrote 9 more songs.
Really? That's quick.
And then Bobby came up a week after Henry came up, and we would present the demos to him, and he would go, I like that one. And then he would pull out a thing of paper, set it up on the deal, play it through once, play it through again, he would start singing. I mean, some of the songs were tracked in like 20 minutes.
Did you have lyrical ideas?
I
likes to do that.
Well, Henry did a lot of that. I was kind of taking hold of the music and getting that arranged, and Henry did have some lyrical and some vocal melody ideas. And even when you did present something to him that was an idea that was already there, he would say, can I do it my way? Yeah. Like, for instance, we did a Moss Generator song that was presented to him because the song sounds like Pentagram, and it's a hidden song in our catalog. And it used to be like the working title was Pentamoss.
Yeah, really?
Because it sounded like Pentagram on purpose. It was a tribute, and this was maybe 10 years ago when the song was written. And Bobby heard the one that came out, and he's like, oh man, that song's great, we should do that. We tracked it, and he came in and he said that to me, do you mind if I do my own take? I'm not going to say no, go for it, man. He laid down, he obviously listened to it because he laid down a really cool take of the song quickly. And so during our time when he was here, him and I, we weren't in the studio, we were sitting up in my studio listening to records, talking about obscure rock bands, a lot of American stuff. I mean, he's very knowledgeable. Luckily, I was able to pull out stuff from my Twilight Zone area of lost rock bands, and I was able to at least have a large portion of records of obscure bands he would mention.
Really? Yeah, yeah.
We sat there and just rocked out. Just had a great time,
Yeah. When that documentary came out, I skipped it because I just didn't want to see some of that stuff. Yeah. And I saw some recent interviews, and I just noticed right away that he's chipper, he's with it, he's just funny, and he seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, and I'd never met him until a couple of weeks ago.
Really, though?
And even during the times when we were communicating via text about, he'd be like, I'm really excited, I've been watching a lot of Moss stuff, because Scooter too is playing bass from Moss Generator. And he's like, I've been watching you guys are just so killer, you're just talented and dedicated and all that. And I would just be like, cool. Like, all my answers would be like, and he would be I don't think Tony likes me. Well, stuff like that. So I was just kind of playing it cool because I didn't know, And when he got there, it was pretty evident, right, when we got him at the airport. Okay, this is gonna be cool. And he's
He can still do his thing, from what I've heard.
He really killed it. I mean, and he would get up, and you could tell when he found a song, because he would start doing this thing when he was getting ready to sing, and it would turn to him being on stage.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't just him standing on a microphone. He would start jiving.
He was really feeling it.
And
how many tunes is it?
13.
13.
It'll be 11, and then 2 extras for like another like a bonus album.
And you're gonna do this stuff live next month?
Yeah, we're gonna play a lot of the classic 70s and 80s.
How many new tunes do you think you can slip in? A couple or
new tunes? I think I think Bobby wants to do at least 3, but I'm still doing guitar tracks on the record. I mean, I just right before I came here, I did a lead on one of the songs. So
he's recording a Pentagram album, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I probably
go home and start editing out some stuff. So
that's cool, man.
And I'm trying to look at it as I'm looking at it as a respect thing, and I think Bobby knows that between me and Henry and Scooter, that he's got 3 solid players. And I even said things. I've said a couple things to him, because I was trying to be honest in a lot of these things. Because I mean, I would rather just do my own band. Mm-hmm. I've been in other people's bands, and I wasn't that stoked. But of course, now I can go.
You're a writer.
Yeah.
So
I can go to the next level as a performer, play bigger stages, maybe make some money, and all that stuff. And it's not going to be a touring situation that it takes so much time. I can't do.
He wants to go out a few times a year or something like that.
Yeah, or we're going to like South America for 10 days, or we're going to Europe for a week, or we're going to go to Japan for a week.
Not the longest
fun.
tours ever.
Yeah. And that leaves me to be able to do Hot Spring Water or Moss or whatever I'm working on at the time. So
that's cool. You might need a roadie.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
That'll be Apple. That won't be me.
there's road crew types. I mean, my thing as if I'm going to the next level, what I really want to do is walk on stage, plug my guitar and play, unplug my guitar and walk off the stage.
Yeah.
If I don't have to load an amp, I kind of feel like I made it.
All
right, like, but I think that like I said, he trusts all of us to give him a professional outfit, and
none of us would.
None of us would put up with the shenanigans. When I say shenanigans, it sounds like a light term, but it's not. I mean, it's a lot heavier than that, and he knows that.
Is that why he's had so many different band members?
Yeah, I think that maybe, and I can't really speak for really much in the past, but yeah, it's probably
the lineups have lasted for some years on at a time.
And from what I understand, and I really don't. I haven't even watched any of the recent lineups. I just want to do the songs my way.
Have you checked out some of those albums? I mean, the one guy is the guy from the drum. He played drums and guitar. He's the guy from Raven.
He's in Hasselbander's in Raven now.
Okay.
But Hasselbander joined in like '79 or '78. Joined Pentagram.
Oh yeah.
And he did a lot of records. He played.
He was in Raven later.
Yeah.
Then he came back, or
yeah, he just kind of. Falls in. I don't know how many years now it's been since he's been back, but there's some records, like I believe Sub Basement is him playing everything on it, but he's a great drummer.
Yeah,
and he was in all those '80s records.
A lot of people really like Sub Basement a lot.
I just remastered that.
You did.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna maybe say that's how you met him, because maybe you mixed or mastered some old stuff, because you do that for a lot of groups.
and I haven't done that for them. I did master Review Your Choices and Sub Basement. They're just coming out on Heavy Psych Sounds, which is
just remastering, no remixing really.
Correct. Yeah. And they were I had to remaster them from CDs that were in my mind poorly mastered.
Oh yeah.
Brick Wall, that era where it's just distortion. So what I did was I got the levels down, tried to equalize everything, and then dumped into a 2-track reel-to-reel to try to warm them up, kind of round off the top, slicey highs, and warm up the bottom. And I think it went well. I've been hearing good things about the Sub Basement, that even from Bobby, because that record had one song's trebly, one song's bassy, and so of course when you're mastering, you try to.
So it wasn't an analog album, but now
it might have been. But it just was, the mastering job.
Just inconsistent.
Yeah, the original. When it was the brick walling era for mastering, it ruined a lot of recordings because of that.
Which is like, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. When they realized how they could really make things loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad Bobby found somebody who cares so much about the music too.
Yeah,
Well,
in you, he has
Preserving
guitar
the
player,
legacy.
songwriter.
Yep.
Are you doing a lot of indie singing? You're
He
the backup
wants
singer.
me because he's like, dude, you sound like Paul Stanley. He's
Really?
Like, oh yeah. He's like, man, you sound like when Paul Stanley was good. I'm like,
Yeah. Alive
but
era.
I don't feel like I'm finding a place for my voice on the record. If I wanted a chorus, I would have him. I had him double or triple.
Oh, really?
Choruses.
Yeah.
I may lay my voice down in a couple of these areas to see what happens. I'm not that concerned with that.
But he's the focus vocally. He's
Yeah,
really,
yeah. And live he might want some support on some sections,
Yeah.
So.
But in you, he has an engineer, kind of a producer, songwriter. He has really everything in house, really.
Exactly.
You do all those
and that
things,
was
like-
Henry's selling point. This dude will be able to give you everything you want and
Yeah.
he respects. And he's a musician that takes pride.
Yeah.
Which ultimately we got to take pride in what we're doing here, and that will show.
Yeah.
And so, and he was really happy. He's like, I haven't had such an easy time in the studio. I'm fast. I'm real fast at my work, and he was. I would rewind it and give him, one measure to start singing, and he was on it. He wasn't. Some people like
He's got it.
Yeah, I need the whole beginning.
Yeah.
Really?
You have
Okay.
to talk with them forever.
Yeah.
Is it 8 bars or what is it?
So he's well steeped in studio.
Yeah. When you don't have to do a lot of
performances.
talking, you can just keep that flow.
And he liked the flow, because I could see him. He was giving it everything, and there would be times where like, man, okay, we need to stop right now because he's wearing it out, but for the benefit of the. And there was no weirdness from him or no what are these things that we heard that he might act this way or that way or he might, and there was none of that.
When I saw on Instagram, he was in town and he was some of our mutual friends. He was hanging out. People shared a few pictures, and he had on a Wishbone Ash Live Dates blue long sleeve shirt. I commented on it right away because I'm a Wishbone Ash fan, and he friended me right away. And he's like, "Wishbone Ash, best band ever." He's very cool and personable,
And he likes the later Wishbone Ash records.
like the '80s, so like
Yeah,
a hit,
he
like
likes
this.
this.
Like
Yeah, he doesn't mind anything. You're really surprised 'cause I thought he would. Of course, he's probably not going to say Argus because that's what everybody says. But
You covered a song off the first
Off the
album.
first album,
To
yeah.
me, it's the first album.
The
and
first
some of that
album.
progressive stuff on Pilgrimage too. But
yeah, but the first album.
Ooh, that first album. Is that Martin Birch too? I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, see, a little tie in there.
Birch, Sam.
So Chris Apple is a good friend of yours, and he built a studio. You guys recorded the drums there, or the rhythm section.
Well, actually, it was just the drums and the vocals.
Oh.
I did my scratch tracks. We wrote there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the songs, some were done in Texas, and so yeah.
Rhythms and stuff, something for Bobby to sing with.
Yeah, and then now I'm at home doing them at
Yeah.
my place.
Okay.
And so
And it'll be done.
I'm giving
How
until the
far?
end of the month.
Oh, really?
I got a deadline to turn it in mastered. So
Really? Okay.
Scooter's got to be coming in doing bass real soon. I would say I'm done with everything, but I'm hearing things I don't like.
You're
in
fixing
my
stuff
solos.
and making sure. Yeah. That's cool.
So
What's the album going to be called? Has anyone said?
right now it's Lightning in a Bottle, but we'll see how that goes.
Lightning in a Bottle.
I like that. I like that.
So it's one of the songs. They would have a title track, and
Yeah.
and we don't even know if we're going to use the track, but we recorded a song from '71.
Oh, re-recorded one?
Yeah, like they
Oh.
always do. All their albums have some old song, and it was "I'll Certainly See You in Hell," and it's not on. It's on like a basement tape type thing. It's like it's not on any of those First Days Here or any of those. I think it's a really cool song, and I think to keep the Pentagram thing like it is to put that on there,
That's pretty cool.
that's my vote.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's way cool.
So
what did you use for guitar amp and whatnot? And how'd you get your tone on this? And what'd you tune down to?
just D.
Oh.
Yep, just like Moss, D standard, with some drop C stuff. Because the Pentagram on the set list of the old stuff, it goes from standard, it drops, standard half down and then full step down, all over the place. And so I decided I made a set list of the songs where everything is transposed to D. Like I just used the pitch thing and the, so that you don't have to change guitars. Anyway, yeah, that's all the tuning. I used a Risen I have those Risen amps from the 70s. I had a pedal made that I may use in front of all the amps when I go fly. It's either that, well, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, in the studio I use this, and I used a 69 Laney Supergroup.
Oh.
And then in front of that, I might use an MXR Phase 45. I did use a wah pedal with it cocked in the
Half
middle
cocked,
for extra guitar overdubs, and that's it. There's no, on one song I used like a tube screamer, just to give it more of a tight sound underneath the fuzzy. They're heavier guitars than I usually do.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is doomy.
Yeah. But
Everybody wants to hear
But
it.
don't tell Bobby
It's
that.
not. The weird thing is, it's not. Bobby likes 70s rock. So there's like a Trower type song on there.
Which comes across in his vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's singing really like that. Actually, we were just tripping on how much he sounds like Rod Evans.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Deep
Captain
Purple,
Beyond.
Rod Evans?
No, Captain Beyond, Rod.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So he's Captain Beyond's one of his favorite bands,
Oh.
and so he's pulling all these Rod Evans moves, these things on, and even Scooter, who hadn't been at the sessions yet, he stopped by. He's like, "Sounds like Rod Evans."
Oh, really?
So it wasn't just in me and
Wasn't
his
just you?
head, like
Yeah.
and we're cool with that because Captain Beyond's been awesome, and so it's more of a rock album, but Henry and I really tried to keep. I was really focused on trying to have more of the heavier classic sound because that's what people are going to expect. But there's also hooks, and I was surprised because I'm a hook, right? I'm a soft rock, I'm a hook guy.
That's why you like Ace Frehley. Hooks.
Yep. And he all of a sudden came in and started singing these hooks. I'm like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
There's the first single. I mean, even if it's not a single itself, but it's
Yeah.
the first one to push out and like listen to that chorus. It's got a great feel,
What's that song called?
Thundercrest.
Thundercrest.
Yeah.
There's a song title.
There you go. Look for it.
Thundercrest.
Heard it here.
That's and it's a funny word, but the way he pulls it off, it's just great. You're like, oh man, that is cool, dude. So I mean, but all of us are putting in a lot of work and to get ready, but we haven't actually. We got these gigs all booked, and we haven't played a note together. Me and Scooter and Henry jammed on some songs, but it was weird without the singing.
Yeah.
And
So
and
Bobby
also,
will come up, do a little rehearsal, and then.
Yeah, we're going to go to Texas before we go to Spain. 3 or 4 days in Texas, and then fly to Spain. But Bobby is aware of every note that's ever happened in any Pentagram song. And
Yeah.
if you're not hitting it right,
Really?
oh yeah.
That'd be
But
like.
I've watched just a smidge. I've watched a smidge of the last band or a couple, and I noticed that he wasn't doing the full chord.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
like, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's still going. But
Yeah, we're good.
like I said, I haven't really paid too much attention to the people before. I'm sure they were in the band for some of them for quite a while, and did their time, I guess. So I guess it's our turn now.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty exciting because Moss has played festivals and in Europe and all over. But Pentagram is going to be maybe a little further up on the roster.
It is. It's the next step
It's a classic thing.
up from that, and so yeah, and then the Moss thing's doing its thing. We've got almost a new record written, so we've got to figure out how to tackle those recordings because it's a different. I have its tendency to just keep going like the records go here and there.
Yeah.
And
So I have to ask because this is a return recently. How long's it been? A year or so of the return of the original Moss
I
Generator
think it's been around a year. Yeah.
How is that writing with the original dudes?
I've changed a lot.
Yeah, you've changed a lot. Yeah.
But I feel like
You're a songwriter, so you keep growing.
Yeah. But I feel like we're finding they like the materials appealing to them. So if we can find a ground where they can be themselves and I can be satisfied, then I think this is going to work because the demos are sounding cool. And like I said, it's a different, real rhythm based. Everything's real. Everything's kind of like not riff based. It's based on repeating rhythms and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
So it's certainly different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's the same. I did an interview this morning, and someone asked about from that first album to now, and all the changes you go. What is the constant that you would say? And I just said it's my voice.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, you hear me singing, and that's. I mean, my guitar playing has a.
Because on the last album, you're using all sorts of amps and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That last album might be my favorite one.
It's my favorite by far.
Asia
I mean-
Minor.
Yeah.
The Time Wounds one, yeah, by far is my favorite. It's well, and Shadow. I mean, it kind of goes. It's because I felt like I was allowed to be everything I wanted to be as a musician, and the players that were on the record were open to that and willing to be creative with me,
Yeah.
and not just And those are all demos. That record is demos. We never went and redid them. So most of those songs were a day old when they were
Really?
recorded. Yeah.
I think it sounds great though, whether the demos or not, or I don't know what you did to them, but it sounds great, and I feel like it definitely does come off as feeling exciting. Capturing that thing coming out when it's fresh and just.
Yeah, and maybe that's it.
I like it. I like the energy of that.
If I
album.
would have went and re-recorded it, it might have taken away some of that. I really wanted to make it sound like Permanent Waves.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say, and I was gonna hope you weren't gonna you play your set and somebody comes up and said, "Hey, you sound just like blah blah." Well, thanks a lot. I'm trying to sound like me, but I was gonna say that album reminds me of Rush the most of probably
Yeah.
everything in the catalog, and I like the way it takes left turns and it can just go anywhere.
I mean, it was supposed to be a double album, so there's almost a whole other record of material for
Yeah.
it. So we're going to make Time Heals as the companion.
Oh, really?
Record. Yeah, I
Oh,
just haven't
okay.
finished
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
the little bits,
Yeah.
but the stuff that's finished is equally as cool to me. That's the only Moss record I can actually lift off from myself and look at it as a music lover. It's
Yeah.
almost like I didn't write it when I
Yeah.
listen to it. I can't listen to anything else.
Yeah.
I not that I don't like it. I'm done with it when I'm done
Yeah.
with it. I'm tired of this.
Fagan said in an interview one time he does a record, and as soon as it's done, he's on to the next one for a year and a half or whatever. You know what I mean? And he really can't just go back. You get onto
can't.
the new thing.
And a
So
lot of times the record that is coming out, you're already midway through another one. That doesn't mean anything to you. I mean, that's the past now. You're already moving on, But anyway, so yeah, lots of things going on. Hot Spring Water, another record written. That's got to get recorded. So I'm extremely busy because I just got back from Australia where I was doing the CD Jesus record. I was there for 10 days and we tracked, and I brought it home to do some overdubs and more mixing. But then the Pentagram thing, I didn't get this done.
Oh,
so when
yeah.
that gets done, I have to go back to the CD.
So you're
in my
playing on it
ears.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave me license to kind of do
That's cool.
whatever I wanted, and even in the band, I'm in the band photo.
I saw
Like,
that.
you want to sit here? I'm like, no, I'm not. No, sit here, dude. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay.
you're part of it.
Yeah, so I just said,
My George
presence,
Martin, you got to be in the picture.
Yeah, my presence as well is on the record. They let me guide them.
Did you guys tour with them or something, or how did you?
No, Lex had heard Late Great Planet Earth,
Oh,
and he just messaged me. I want to do something. Then it started out with the split 7-inch, and then it turned into we want you to record our records. So they bring me over every time they make a real record. When they do other live things or whatever, I just mix those. But yeah.
CD Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So when's that going to be out then?
Well, I gotta finish mixing it first. I'm hoping I can get it done by the time I go to Spain. And that's only like 8 or 9 days. So and then I'm back for a couple weeks, and we go down to Texas and play 3 shows.
You guys are going to go down there and get a rehearsal room and.
Yeah, but Henry has a huge rehearsal
okay.
space with every piece of gear you'd almost ever want in this place.
Really?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can just. But I know that on stage I'm gonna request in the back line I want a JCM 800. There's probably much as you're always gonna get a Marshall or an Orange in Europe. So just whatever's the most basic, and then I'll put whatever I decide to bring in front
Of it, yeah.
and I'll get my same guitar sound every time.
So those are going to be some warm-up hometown shows.
The Texas one?
Yeah.
No, those
Just
are
rehearsal?
after. The first time I walk on stage
Oh.
with Pentagram, it's
For Monster Mate.
opening for Monster. Well, Unita's before, I think that's how you say it. They're before us, and then so it's
Into the fire. You be thrown in. Huh?
yeah,
That's cool.
for sure.
What do you think about the Moss album? When's that gonna be done?
I don't know. I think this time I'm gonna search out some labels.
Yeah.
Beyond either, because Time Wounds was my release, and then Glory or Death did a version of it too. But I want to seek out like maybe something else, because I feel like this record is interesting enough that people would want to check it out. But it might be another one of those things where playing it live would be really difficult.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So the new one's really progressive.
It's odd, dude. It's like Bomb. There was a band from the '90s called Bomb. So it's like Bomb and Killing Joke.
Oh really?
It's real '90s actually, but
Really?
that weird. It's a voivod.
So,
Lots
okay,
of angular shit happening on it.
So
Things-
when I think of the lineup, I'm thinking like those guys do Sabbathy grooves and stuff and Bonhamy grooves really well. But before you guys were Moss, lineup shifted around. You were originally
12:30 Dreamtime.
12:30 Dreamtime, yeah.
And that was all weird. That
Yeah,
was
so
like
that's
No
what I
Means
was
No meets Fire Hose. You know, so that
I mean, it's Fire Hose, yeah, totally, yeah.
and
Fly in the flannel.
so that's what yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to read. I'm not. Those are things that I let go from myself when Moss formed and we decided to be a rock band. I let go of those things that I like to make this kind of music.
Yeah.
Over the last few records, you've seen that
Creeps
that's
in.
starting to creep in, starting really heavily, starting on Shadowlands,
Yeah.
and then by Time Wounds, it sounds like a Dreamtime record. Like even the
Oh,
old,
yeah,
my old
actually,
friends go,
yeah.
"Damn, that sounds like Dream." There's even some riffs. There's a riff on Time Wounds that Scooter and I wrote with the drummer from Big Elf. We wrote that in '91. And
Oh,
I just
yeah.
took that riff and then added more to it later.
Nice.
I mean, you know, so just those little things like that all over the record. So it's about time. So it's also bringing back the past or whatever, you know, or looking at the future, whatever. So
Killing.
Yep.
So what do you do about touring with Moss? Is that going to be able to?
I don't. That's a big. I mean,
That's the question.
honestly, in the world, yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah.
And I'm up for going places.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that Pentagram will soothe my.
You're touring. I think give you the
no,
tour.
okay, I've had it. I don't mind staying home, just playing music with my friends.
Because
and going
originally,
doing that.
Sean didn't really want to tour a lot.
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't able to, and that's
Yeah.
still the case, and I know that.
Yeah.
So when I know that, I can't get upset when I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
something exists.
You're
in
going
a
into it
certain
knowing.
world.
Yeah.
And you just hope that something's going to change, and I've put a lot of hope into things over time, and usually that's maybe why I am not playing on a level
Yeah.
above things, because I've let things. I hope things will change.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's because I like playing with my friends. I
Yeah.
like playing with people that we understand each other and we get along.
Yeah.
And it was weird to get Jono and Booth because I didn't know him.
But
And
they
I-
were killer
it-
though.
it-
That's
oh,
when I first
ooh.
saw you guys.
Dude, we did a lot of touring. I think we played like 350 shows together or something like that. And that was, that was some good times. But it was weird to, if I might mention some bands, they didn't know about Kiss. I'd put on Kiss and I'd feel embarrassed.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is really cheesy.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Just the lyrics and the
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But
Put
they
your
would,
hand
they,
in
but
my
there was a
pocket.
lot of that they would absorb.
Yeah.
I'd play stuff and then, I mean, like, ended up, we did like a Mahavishnu Orchestra King Crimson medley.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It looks like
And-
the cover of Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd play that in front of a rock crowd and they'd be like, this is in 10/8, man, or whatever. Like, what do you do? What's going on here? We'd play that sometimes.
Yeah. You got them doing what was it? Bastille Day?
Anthem.
Anthem. That's it. Anthem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Live in Canada, no less.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So Pentagram's next though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
there's
next.
the next big thing. There's Hot Spring Water and Moss shows before then,
Yeah.
but the next big off onto a couple of airplanes. We'll probably have to fly every day on that, John.
Mhm.
To Spain, to Greece, Germany, and Switzerland.
Yeah.
I don't like flying. I'm not afraid of. I don't like airports.
Oh really?
I don't like dealing with.
Just
I
waiting around and shit all
Back in the
yeah.
day, man, you walk in the airport and go get on the plane.
Yeah, oh yeah, before COVID.
Yeah, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, they're not long tours. It sounds like they're
No.
just
no. A lot of
consistent,
flying.
kind of here and there. Yeah. So that's cool. I can't wait to hear the Pentagram
Oh,
album.
yeah.
I can't even say anything about it. Like,
I mean,
don't
I know your quality level on all the things that you do, so I'm kind of like, how this is going to be a pretty good.
I hope so,
album.
because it was thrown together. We were just throwing ideas out, and I didn't bring any ideas to the table before I stood in front of a drum set and me and Henry started riffing. And sometimes Henry would go, okay, I want to, okay, and then you know, he might, and that's
Yeah.
how we were doing it. But I might be pleasantly surprised at what comes.
This will be
of
the
it.
introduction for the lineup, at least. You know.
But when Bobby first heard what you came up with, he was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, he was all over.
He loves you guys.
Yeah.
You know, he publicly he don't mind saying it.
He's like, I think we have lightning in a bottle right here.
Did he say that?
No, I don't know. That's the name of the
I
album.
feel like maybe he did, or maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I just try to downplay things, though. I have this thing of like, you know,
Yeah.
not in a bad way, but just like the expectations are here, and it comes out just a little bit up above that, then I'm happy. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, we know what's going to
We've
sound.
played.
good.
We've all played enough gigs that we know if you expect something, you're in for a big disappointment. So don't expect anything, and you'll have a great time.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know. And that's not even a negative statement. It's kind of a
Yeah.
truth. It's
Yeah.
reality.
You know, there you go.
Yeah. If I go into a show hoping my guys are going to hit all the right notes, I might as well just have fun and not think about it.
I
You know.
never hit all the right notes.
Keep thinking that way, because I'm jamming with you next month.
Yeah. So cool. All right, Tony. Well, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you're a busy man. That's obvious, and we thank
It's
you for your
insane,
time,
man. I appreciate it because I've been wanting to come on all the Kiss ones. I'm like, man, I could talk about that
Yeah,
record all
exactly.
Next
day.
time we talked about doing an Ace Frehley thing and just talking about what makes
Oh.
Ace Ace.
Man, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Future Kiss episode.
We'll schedule it when you're not on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
Pentagram
exactly.
It's not going
Lost.
to be that much. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Like I said, I'm glad about that. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much, Tony.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I am Jason. This is Peter, and you've watched. What do we call this? It's a little kind of sidebar episode,
Yeah.
right? So, thank you for watching.
Pentaslice.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Tony.